Okay, so I'm back at the herring pond where we shot the last vlog, and as you can see, slightly wilder conditions. We have a couple of pretty gnarly weather cells moving through now. One has just moved through off the coast, sadly. There is still a chance that there's probably actually some sleet this close to the coast, but some snow. But that's kind of what we're looking for today. Weather, elements, shooting in crazy conditions. So I think this vlog is probably going to span most of today, and we'll just follow where the conditions goes. Let me just turn you around and we can see what we can see. So here we are, just looking out to sea. I say most of that really bad weather has actually moved off in that particular sail just out there. My phone's getting covered in sleet and slush and all kinds of stuff. So today's vlog is really just about shooting and following weather conditions, because that's where you're going to get some of the most kind of, hopefully, dramatic light. So the light has gone what light we had. So little tip, look at this here, shower cap, brilliant just for kind of keeping your lens and your camera protected from the elements. If you have, now I've kind of come away from my composition just to get a little bit more sheltered from that squall coming through just while the lights kind of disappeared. But obviously if you have set up and a shower moves through, even if you have a weatherproofed, weather sealed camera, it can be useful to keep the raindrops off the lens. So I find just a little shower cap, one of the ones that you'll pick up in hotels. Yeah, sadly now it's kind of moving a little bit. Let me just turn myself around a little bit. Oh. You can kind of see that up in there's the potential for just a gap. Now, sunrise is still about 10-15 minutes away, but that's all I'm looking for, just a little gap that'll kind of give us a little bit of light on the foreground, light on those dark and moody skies. So I see there is some snow on the hills behind me. I don't think you'll be able to make that out with this lens, so I might head up in that direction, but it all looks like a very small dusting more than anything. So rather than kind of chasing after snow, which I thought was going to be the order today, I'm actually looking more at drama. Now I have got my 1-400, love the lens, love it. I could see myself going back to the car after a while, throwing most of the kit away into the car, putting the 1-400 on, the XT1, and actually going in for some drama on those waves, because there's something going on in there that I like. But just thought I would record this extra little bit. Shower cap, good little tip. Okay, so light is starting to come back again. Look at this cloud up here as well, by the way. And as you can see behind me, just starting to get some nice mood, some nice drama. So I'm still on the 10-24 XE2. I've now put my 4-stop ND on, and I've also put my 2-stop soft edge grad on. Not a huge amount of difference between on the horizon there at the moment, but I keep going back to that 400, 1-400. Very tempted to just get it out of the bag and stick it on and have a play, because there's even now some light coming on those crests of those waves over here. I'm gonna play this out a little bit. I just like how whenever you're shooting on the wide angle, I'm actually at about 14 mil here. It's actually just giving a little bit more kind of oomph to the sky. So lots going on, and now I'm in a bit of a quandary. Is it 1-400 time? Is it stick on the wide angle? Whew, choices. That cloud is mental though. So I'm kind of sticking on the wide. I think there's enough interest going on here. So again, if you remember from my last vlog, this little pool of water just always collects all that light. As you can see, we've got some nice drama. So very similar composition to what we were working with earlier on, slightly higher up now. And I'm just loving how that sky's just kind of moody and drama. And of course we still have our completely crazy cloud up here. Wouldn't like to be flying through that. So yeah, so at least it's not snowing again. So what I have on is a 4-stop ND, 2-stop soft edge grad, and again I'm kind of working with the waves. So at the moment things have kind of slackened down a bit. That's why I'm not sort of taking anything. So I'm kind of shooting. I'm going to shoot now, and then I'm probably going to shoot another frame just as the wave's being pulled out, and I might even consider blending a little bit. So there wasn't really much of a pull out there, but I'm sort of thinking a little bit of blending action might actually work in this. But you can see here just that mood and that drama that's kind of going on. I have my screen brightness up just so I can kind of see what's going on. And in fact, that's where you got to be careful with your screen brightness, that you don't take it as red, because I've got a little bit of room there with positive exposure compensation. So I'm actually just going to do that now. Just bring myself up just 1/3 of a stop. And let's just wait for some more nice waves to come in. So here comes one now in the distance. So I'm just going to fire that shutter off now. And then I'm going to fire another one now, just as it's pulling in and out, with the potential to either blend or use both of them. And then I'm always going back and checking my histogram. And you see that we're not blowing any highlights, and at the end, and we could even probably even notch it up just a little bit more. So keep an eye on that histogram, folks. Keep an eye on those clouds as well. As you can see, the light has dramatically improved, and we've got now what I class as just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous storm light. Haven't changed too much composition. Oh dear, lots of foam coming in now, so I'm not going to do anything there, which is a shame because we've got just gorgeous stuff going on out there. Haven't yet put the 1-400 on. Okay, so this is now going to, so I'm again paying attention to the channel, watching that water sweep out, keeping an eye on the background, firing my shutter now, getting a couple of seconds of exposure. Can't really see it too well. But again, as we talked about in the last vlog, I'm not just shooting willy-nilly. I'm really paying attention to what's going on in this channel, and also trying to time it that that's pulling out just as there's some lovely waves on the horizon. So again, you heard what I said in the last vlog. Here comes a good one. Higher in that. Oh, up and down. Good one. Nice one. Here comes a couple of big rollers. So what I said last time on the vlog, coming back to a location time and time and time and time again. You were with me in the last vlog, and look at it now. It's dramatically different. It's just gorgeous. And of course now, this time of year, we start to get the sun much earlier after it's rising, so not much nicer light. Okay, so again, firing that shutter speed now, just as that's pulling out, and there was some interest in the far distance. Now, I'm actually angling down a lot more. I'm not taking too much of that sky at the moment. That decision may change in any moment, because I think there is a little bit of drama to maybe to be had up in that sky. But at the moment I'm angled down. Now I'm still in the 10-24. Oh, here we go. That's what you want. So you see that by paying attention to the, it's very difficult for you to see, sorry about that. Paying attention to when this channel is really full of energy and the background is full of energy gives you a much, much nicer image. And of course, because we've got this gorgeous light coming through, it's just lighting things up just perfectly. It's even those dramatic clouds in the background, so beautiful. You know, as photographers, we sometimes have one of those days, and this is one of those days. Everything seems to be a challenge, and I just seem to be forcing things. I'm just not sure why. Of course, the conditions aren't helping, but I'm normally okay with that. I can just hunker down and wait, but everything just seems to be kind of forced. know, the bag doesn't, even simple things like the bag on my back doesn't even feel comfortable. You know, the tripod legs are getting stuck. It's just one of those days. So I've come down to the beach. I was going to head up to the higher ground where there's some snow lying, but I thought I'd come down to the beach and maybe see whether I could catch some of that sunlight coming through, but it's kind of gone away again. So kind of polarizer, 4-stop ND and a 2-stop soft edge grad on there, just trying to take a little bit of the movement in the reeds, but the light has gone again, and by the looks of things it's not going to be coming back anytime soon. So just one of those days. Back in the car, that light just is gone and there's a huge amount of cloud about. I've been checking the weather forecast as well, and it looks like for the next couple of hours that cloud's going to be moving in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop for a couple of hours and I'm going to go grab myself a coffee, and I'm going to just go and get myself back in the zone again. As I say, I'm not quite sure why. Everything just seems to be struggle, and I don't like that. I would far rather put the camera down and just go for a coffee or go out for a walk, or just so disappointed. But we'll see how we go later on. So I've actually scrapped the idea of a coffee. I decided to come up a little bit higher, and I'm glad I did. Now, we sold our 4x4 about 3 weeks ago. And now I'm kind of regretting that. Not regretting selling the 4x4, we needed to, but regretting not having 4-wheel drive. I was up in some areas there, and there's no way I could have got the car up, and there was nowhere safe to park, so I had to come away. But kind of mental note for the next time there's any sort of snowfall about. Now, it's very light snowfall and there's little flurries coming through, but again, just using the zoom lens, either the 18-135 at the long end or the 100-400 again, just handheld, just picking out some layers of colour. This main road that I'm on seems to be okay, so I'm going to kind of head on in a little bit and just see what else I can pick up. It's blooming cold though. So I brought myself up to a little scene that I've been to probably about a year ago, in fact, and I always said to myself that this may work if there's just a little bit of snow covering, which is exactly what we have here. So the lights kind of disappeared at the moment, so just giving myself a few moments just to play about. So these little trees in the background, just lovely and gnarly, taking on some of that texture, and whenever the sun comes out, that enhances the texture. So I've come back into the car, but I'm not going to disappear off just yet. There's another squall moving through. Fingers crossed it's going to be some snow. I actually think that there's potential image with same kind of composition that I've been doing, but actually with kind of snow, blizzardy sort of conditions coming past it. But by the time it reaches here, it might just be rain. But we'll hang on for a few minutes and we'll see whether we get any snow. Otherwise, we'll move on.